Hello and welcome to Shopping East Tennessee on WTMB. Joe Palo with you once again, and we're here at Wagner Towing, located at 1685 King Edward Avenue Southeast, right here in Cleveland. And I'm standing here with Lynn Wagner, the owner of Wagner Towing. And Lynn, thank you for being with us today, man.
I appreciate you coming out and interviewing me.
Well, let's talk about Wagner Towing because, you know, folks watching out there, there's a lot of towing companies in the area. But Wagner Towing is a little different than everybody else. And tell us what makes Wagner Towing different.
Well, I own the company and I do 99% of the towing and the recovery. I take as much time recovering a vehicle or towing one. If it's a 77 Chevette or if it's a 2011 model vehicle, I take the same amount of time and care to take care of it and not hurt the vehicle.
That was something I was going to ask because we were talking before we went on, and I said to Lynn, I said, you know, there's a lot of folks I'm sure out there that are the OCD kind of people, kind of like myself, that are a little nervous if they get their car towed. Ooh, is it going to get scratched? Is it going to be done like this? Is this going to happen? That's going to happen? But Lynn told me you even tow classic cars.
Towed them. I've got special straps to put around the axle housing so it doesn't damage the paint. And I've got take them other straps and put around the front of the frame so that way when we pull it up on the truck, that way nothing's damaged or hurt.
See, and that is something that you need to look out for, because there's a lot of towing companies that wouldn't take that time and just want to get it on the truck and get it towed to wherever it's got to be. But there are people that are a little worried about it, especially with show cars, and they want to make sure that it's not scratched and it's done properly, and you do that. We mentioned that Wagner Towing is located at 1685 King Edward Avenue, but for those of you watching, you really don't need to know where he is. He needs to know where you are, because he comes to you to get the vehicle. And as you're seeing behind us here, and as you'll see shots of the different tow trucks that Lynn has here, and I was asking him again before we went on, vehicles that he would tow, size vehicles, and you said you tow everything from, I guess, a compact car to a semi-truck.
Yes, sir. Anything. Compact cars, dump trucks, semi-trucks, trash compactors, whatever will hook up to the back of the wrecker, I will tow it.
And another thing you folks need to know is Lynn's not afraid to go get a car back in the woods, back in the jungles if he has to. He'll take the trucks out there. A lot of tow companies won't get your vehicle if it's kind of stuck way out somewhere, because either they don't want to get their trucks out there or they're afraid they may not be able to get it. But this man will go pick it up and take it out.
I'm willing to go to the woods to get something. Yes, I am.
Well, and I think another point is not only will you go to the woods to get a vehicle, but you'll take it wherever they need to go. I asked Lynn, I said, how far, you know, will you take a vehicle? He said, I've been all the way to Texas before. So I guess there's no distance that's too far for Wagner Towing.
No, I've been to Texas and Florida, Virginia, Kentucky. I mean, if you need it towed somewhere or another, let's go get it.
Now, we also mentioned that you have a storage area that folks, if they don't have a place to take it necessarily, you will pick it up and then bring it to your storage area. And then how does that work?
Well, whenever I'm somewhere or another and I need to pick the vehicle up, I prefer someone to be there with a signature, authorize me to pick the vehicle up. And the keys are nice because it makes it easier to load and unload.
Right.
And I'll bring it to my storage area, offload it, lock the vehicle up, and then whenever they, you know, deem time to take it to a body shop or take it to another location, we'll just load her up and take it wherever they need it taken.
Now, there is a time limit, though. They can't just leave it here for an extended period of time. I guess there's a time limit. They need to come back to make sure they get the vehicle.
Correct. We get stuck with a lot of vehicles. After 30 days, the vehicle legally becomes ours, you know. But, you know, that's part of the towing business. Sure, yeah.
Now, let's talk about some of the vehicles that you've had to tow before. We talk about semi-trucks. What's the difference? I guess obviously the size, but what's the difference in picking up a semi on the side of the road somewhere, or just somebody's vehicle that's just broken down?
Okay, like your Xterra, it's pretty much you take my flatbed out and I can hook a winch line to it and winch it up on the flatbed, and do the proper tie down to it, and then take it and somewhere or another and offload it. Now, a semi is different. Semi is, of course, a lot bigger, have to have a larger wrecker. If we're towing it from the front, which most semis, you have to pull them when you're towing the whole thing. You have to pick the front end of the truck up, get it on the axle forks, and then you have to pull the drive line out from under it. Because if you don't, you can burn the transmissions up in them. And then, of course, you have to run an air supply to the truck to be able to release the brakes on the truck. And, of course, I've got a brake buddy on my trucks, and that gives me extra braking power to help prevent accidents.
Okay. Well, all right. Now I'm going to ask a question. This may sound like, of course, they say there's never such thing as a stupid question, but if you pick a semi, do they have to disengage the trailer? You just take the truck itself, or you take the truck, the trailer, everything?
I can take it all.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if the trailer is loaded or if it's empty. I can take it all. Sure can.
Now, there's something to be said about driving, because driving a semi in itself is difficult, but can you imagine driving a wrecker, pulling a semi complete down the road? There's something to be said for that.
It's a little different. Now, you had better pick your way when you're going, because as far as small secondary roads, you can't make the turns like you can if you're just in a regular vehicle. You had better pick your path and be able which way to go before you climb in that truck and go.
Now, let me also ask you, of course, we've got 3 trucks here. You say you pick up most of the vehicles, but you do have folks that work with you here, I'm sure, that can pick up a vehicle if you're out on another job site.
I've got some part-time help that can help me, yes.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Now, the phone number here, folks, is 559-0125. Of course, that's to get directly in touch with Lynn and tell him where your vehicle is that he'll come pick up. There's a fax number as well, 559-8273. Talk to us about your hours of operation, 24 hours a day, I guess. If somebody calls at 3 in the morning, is that?
That's true. The towing aspects of the business is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Right.
But now my office is open from 8 o'clock in the morning until 5 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday through Friday.
Okay.
The office is closed on Saturday and Sunday. I've had a lot of people fuss at me because we're not open on Saturday and Sunday, but I mean, you know, you're supposed to have a life,
Exactly.
you know, a little bit of one. And the wife, you know, she wants to go to Walmart from time to time, you know.
That's true. But I mean, if they need their car picked up, the office doesn't need to be open. They can call the number and you'll come pick it up.
Right. Now, the towing part of it, yes, it's open 24/7, 365 days a year.
Okay. Does your wife do the paperwork, or they got you doing that?
My wife does 90% of the paperwork. I'll help her out I help her out from time to time on a few things, but she does most of it.
Well, again, of course, we're here at Wagner Towing with Lynn Wagner, and a great guy, and as you can tell, and very friendly. Folks, if you need your car towed, this is the man you're going to want to see, because he can do any vehicle, any size, any shape. Let's talk about that, too. Now, depending upon the vehicle that you're going to pick up, does that determine what wrecker you take, or is it just pretty much whichever one that you're ready to use that particular day? I mean, will any of these wreckers basically pick up any type of car?
No, it needs to be, you know, if it's the light duty stuff, you know, pickup trucks, half-ton trucks, 3/4 ton, the light ton trucks, I take my light duty rollback.
Okay.
Now, if I get into heavy duty stuff, service trucks, it's got the utility beds on them, it's got loaded down with tools, and I have a heavy duty rollback, tandem axle that I use for it. And I use it also to move specialty equipment too. I'm pretty good at moving milling machines, lathes, you know, metal brakes, shears, stuff like that. I've moved quite a bit of that for people. I don't know if anybody else in town does it or not, but I know I've caught several calls on it. People enjoy what I do and how I do it. And but as far as I try to get all my information, you know, try to find out what kind of vehicle it is, where it's located, and that way I know what kind of vehicle, you know, which tow truck to take.
And it was a funny little story that Lynn was telling us, that when you do call, it is good to let him know where the car is exactly and where you want him to take it, because he said he had a gentleman call that just told him it was in Chattanooga and he wanted to take Polk County. Wouldn't tell him where, just take it to Polk County. So, I mean, so folks really need to know where their car is located so you have an idea where to pick it up.
Right, I got to have a physical address where I'm picking it up and a physical address where I'm delivering the vehicle. I mean, you can't say go to Chattanooga and get my car and take it to Polk County, because where at in Chattanooga?
And I mean, as we said, there's no distance that's too far for you to travel. So if somebody in Florida, his car is broken down here, and they give you a call and say, look, can you drive this thing down to Florida where I live in Sanford, you'll do it.
Yes, I will. Sure will. Anytime, day or night, we're ready to go.
And very, very reasonable rates. And of course, as you can tell, been in business. How long have you been in business?
Let's say June will make it 11 years.
Oh, okay. Good deal. And you know he's got to be doing something right to be in business 11 years and all the different things you pick up. Now, I do want to mention again, it's not just vehicles. You mentioned some of this machinery. So you can pick up stuff for folks that they may not think can be loaded onto a wrecker from somewhere.
Right. Farm tractors, small bulldozer. I can move small bulldozer on my rollback, the heavy duty one, backhoe. You know, if it can be drug up on there, I'll haul it.
Okay. Now we have. I do know you pick up vehicles that may have been. Maybe the police department has said this car needs to be towed because it's in a place where it shouldn't be. You will take it and you'll bring it here to your storage lot and hold it till the customer can come pick it up. But I think you told me the person who owns the vehicle, whose name's basically on the title, I guess, is the person that has to pick up the vehicle.
Correct. That's right. That's Tennessee law.
Okay.
I cannot release the vehicle to anyone except the registered owner. There's only one exception. They can have an affidavit made, and it's got to be signed and notarized, stating a specific person can come pick the vehicle up, or otherwise I cannot release it to anyone. That's just Tennessee law.
And that's a good thing. That's a very good thing, because that just means not just anybody can come get your vehicle, or they just say, hey, that's my car, I need to pick it up. You got to have proof that that is your vehicle.
Correct. Have to have either a title, tag receipt when they pick it up, and they have to have some type of a picture ID. They got to have, you know, their driver's license. And if they don't have driver's license to come pick up a vehicle, they have to have 2 licensed drivers with them.
Okay.
So that way a licensed driver can drive their vehicle off, and then the vehicle that they're in has to be a licensed driver, you know. So that way it protects me.
Right.
So.
And that makes perfect sense. Lynn, if you will, again, telephone number for these folks that may need you to come pick up their vehicle.
It's area code 423-559-0125.
There you go, folks. 559-0125. Fax number again, 559-8273. Wagner Towing, 1685 King Edward Avenue, Southeast, right here in Cleveland. And this is the man, Lynn Wagner of Wagner Towing. Lynn, thank you so much for having us out here, man.
Thank you for coming, and I hope this helps with my business a little bit more.
Oh, I think it will. I think folks watching right now, if they have a mind to have their car towed, they know that you're the man to do it. And like we said, show cars as well. He takes extra care with that. So if don't feel bad thinking that you're going to have your show car towed, because this is the guy that'll take care of it. All right, Lynn. Again, thank you so much for having us out here. Lynn Wagner of Wagner Towing. Again, 1685 King Edward Avenue, Southeast in Cleveland. 559-0125. For Shopping East Tennessee on WTMB, I'm Joe Palo.
Yes, something else I would like to touch on is I go to Wreckmaster classes. I'm certified right now for the 2-3 class, which is light duty. The 4-5 class which is medium and heavy duty. And then the 6-7 I'm working on right now. Hopefully within the next little while I'll be certified on all the heavy duty stuff. I am also certified through Wes Wilburn on tankers. They are a funny animal, them tankers. You got to really know what you're doing fooling with a tanker. So that's something else some people might be interested in using me for. Thank you.